Hey YouTube, I'm making this video as sort of a rant, mainly against apathy and the whole idea of relativism of everything's right, no one should argue, there's no right or wrong. I'm sorry, but all that is just bullshit and it's pissing the fuck out of me, okay? Look, I'm not gonna say that there is a right way or wrong way of thinking, depending on the context, such as, is communism wrong? Is capitalism wrong? No, it's two different ideals, two different political thoughts. In themselves, they are not wrong. But how they are applied and how it can affect a certain people, depending on the mindset, the culture, and everything else in the history, those things can be debated on whether it is right or wrong for the people to practice it. So I don't get why people tell me to don't debate, don't argue, there's no point. I'm sorry, but that is the whole point of debating in the first place. Is it to change people's minds? That is why there are so many different political parties. That is why there's open debates on the floor. The point is to convince the other person to change their minds based on the facts and presentation of one's point of view. If we had not had that, there would possibly be, if it wasn't for the whole economic situation around the 1800s, there probably would be still slavery because no one wouldn't have wanted to argue. It was a very hot issue. It depended on one's religious beliefs. It depended on one's view of humankind. Or there wouldn't be women's rights. There wouldn't be civil rights. So I hope people are understanding what I'm saying, because it's kind of like, oh, just be quiet. Just keep it down. We don't want to start arguments. And the whole thing about people, I don't like talking about religion or politics because it fires you. You know what? I can respect that, alright? I understand you don't want to have conflict, but that is not me. For me, finding out someone's religion, someone's politics, someone's way of thinking, that is how I get to know the person. I don't want to see the mask. I don't care how you present yourself to the world. I want to know who the hell you guys are. That is why I ask those questions. I want to know how you think, how you present yourself. And you know what? If we come to a disagreement, depending on what it is, I will argue. But the thing is, we will argue on the basis of what you stand on. For instance, if we argue about anything that has to do with Christianity, we will use the Bible. If we argue American politics, we will use the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and go from the beginning. For every argument that I have, I will usually try to find a common basis for us to argue on and thus make my point. I have no problem admitting that I'm wrong. It's like my favorite line from Janet Jackson's solo with Michael Jackson in the song Scream. You can tell me I'm wrong, but then you're going to have to prove you're right. It is the same way. If I tell you you're wrong, then I'm going to try to prove why I am right. And the whole idea of there is no right or wrong, why? Yes, I believe that I don't know everything, and I don't think I'm 100% right. But the thing is, until I find where I'm wrong at, I'm not going to change. The thing is, why would I hold on to a belief that I know is wrong? It's kind of like me still believing in Santa Claus, even though there is no logical belief in doing so. And most people don't unless they're trying to make it as a silly joke. But I digress. The point in general is that arguing is good. It brings about points. And the whole thing about not arguing is apathetic. It is a sad burden on our generation that we just don't want to talk about anymore. We just accept it as it is and don't want to bring about change. Is a sad thing and shows how low we have come to care about lives and how we see our dreams of changing this world. And going on to the religious matters of when I argue, no offense, but people who are religious and say, let's not argue about this because we're never going to agree, that is what the point of missionary is doing. It is presenting your religion in order for the other person to come to your religion. So if I challenge you on your faith, and we have sort of common faith or anything, and I challenge you and I ask you a question, don't think of me saying automatically disrespecting your faith. I'm not. I have respect for all faiths. Yes, I'm bitter against evangelicals, but I'm not going to hate the evangelicals themselves. I just don't like evangelicalism. But nonetheless, I will treat it with respect and regards with debating. So that's if I present a question and you just walk away and then go around saying that I'm stubborn, I have changed my religions almost 4 times. I am not stubborn. I am willing to hear your point of view, but you got to present it. You got to make your point. Why should I follow any of your beliefs or points of view if you can't prove it to be right? So thus, don't call me stubborn or abrasive or anything unless you can prove that I actually am, that I am wrong. If we come to a point such as like the arguments about God and science, in the end, no one can prove that there is a God or not. I will admit it, there is no 100% proof, but there is enough for me, there's enough truth in the belief of God for me to believe that there is one. So thus, that argument goes into choice, and I can accept that. I have no problem with that. Yes, I will argue if there's a God or not, but it comes basically down to a person's choice. So, yeah, sorry about, I just had to get my rant on because I'm just tired of people saying that I am stubborn, that I shouldn't talk about these hot button issues, no one wants to talk about them, and that trying to make me feel bad like I'm always argumentative when I'm not. I'm trying to find out who you are and trying to see how much more we can become in common. But the thing is, if you're not going to be willing to share who you are or tell me why you believe it or show me why I should change, if you feel that passionate enough that I should change, then back the hell off. I'm sorry. You really aren't worth my time if you aren't secure enough in your own beliefs to defend them, to project them, and to actually believe in them enough to be proud in them. So, other than that, I hope you guys have a good night, and yeah.